Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to say welcome to our witnesses, and we also have two witnesses that are joining us remotely today. So we thank you all for being here, and we thank our staffs who have worked to bring this hearing together and to have this happen for us today. We've had some really insightful hearings this year on consumer products. Now, we've spent a lot of time looking at the online space, and we've had TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and all of your platforms that unfortunately are adversely impacting children and families. And so it's appropriate that today we look at the physical space and how important it is that at this time of year we look at what is happening in that space of toys and the excitement that comes with holiday decor and making certain that the supply chain is a safe one for products that are going to be put on the shelves. And we're hearing a lot about supply chains these days. So what is getting through? Let's make certain that it is safe. Now, as a mom and a grandmother, I am especially attuned to all of this. And the issue about the button batteries, which we've discussed, is one that I've looked at and have firsthand experience with. My little 15-month-old granddaughter has a dancing, light-up singing octopus that she absolutely loves. And she taps it on something and it, springs into action. And she ran the batteries out on it. So my husband had to change the batteries. So he opens the back and it's the button battery. I sent him to the garage, to the trash can, to empty the batteries and then to get the replacement batteries so that it would work. But that's the kind of thing that becomes a hazard, and you don't expect that to be a hazard, but we know that it does. So we thank you, Ms. Ham-Smith, for being here, for sharing your story, and for the awareness that you bring to the issue. And today we're also going to hear about the voluntary steps that retailers can and should be taking as they look at product safety. A big part of this is standards development. And many times people will say, well, why do you think it's so important that we keep standard setting in the U.S. and not let China get into the business of standard setting? And one of the reasons that this is so important is because when you look at the supply chain, you look at innovation, you look at the products that are getting in there, we have a certain set of guidelines that are vitally important to us in order to protect what eventually gets through that supply chain and makes it to the shelves in our stores, and thereby what people have access to and what they're taking into their homes. We're very concerned about what we see happening with some of the infiltration of counterfeit products, things that are infringed on copyrights and are sold online, and people end up with this in their home. A few years ago, when I was in the house, we had a Tennessee family who had purchased a hoverboard online. And this is when hoverboards were the big gift item that year, and they found one online, and of course it caught on fire and their house burned. So these are the things that we watch out for to make certain that the supply chain is going to be safe. And as more consumers are buying from third-party platforms, that they're going to have the insight into where these products are coming from and why these products might be unsafe. And this is an area that the chairman and I have discussed where Section 230 comes into play with needed reforms that would make certain that products that are on these third-party platforms are going to be as advertised. Now, we know that the CPSC, as the chairman said, has a role to play in all of this. They have a new chairman that has just taken the role over there, and we're looking forward to what they're going to bring forward as far as doing their due diligence. But to all of our witnesses today, the Toy Association, looking at the health of children, looking at these supply chains, it is important that everyone do their due diligence to make certain that products that are placed in the marketplace are safe. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for this. Thank you again to our witnesses, and look forward to today's hearing.